The rule was simple. If someone knocks on the bathroom door after 2 a.m., you do not open it, especially if you're the only employee on shift. The problem? At 2:13 a.m., someone knocked, and I was the one inside. I took the night shift job because it paid more. Small gas station, middle of nowhere. Highway stretching in both directions for miles. The kind of place truckers stop at once, maybe twice a night. My manager trained me for exactly 20 minutes. Showed me the register, the security monitors, the panic button under the counter. Then he handed me a folded paper. "Read this after midnight," he said, "not before." I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. At 12:05 a.m., I unfolded the paper. Title at the top: Night Shift Rules. Follow exactly. Lock the front doors at 1:30 a.m. Unlock them at 4 a.m. If a customer arrives between 1:30 and 4, serve them through the window only. If someone asks to use the bathroom after 2 a.m., tell them it's out of order. If you hear knocking from inside the bathroom after 2 a.m., ignore it. There is no employee named Carl. If someone asks for him, do not respond. If pump number 3 activates by itself, do not look outside. If you see a person standing near the highway sign and they are not moving, turn off the canopy lights immediately. I laughed until 1:47 a.m. A man walked up to the window. Didn't drive in, just appeared from the darkness beyond the headlights. He didn't blink, didn't smile, just stared. "I need gas," he said. I checked the pumps. None were active. "Prepay," I told him. He slid cash through the tray. When I looked back up, he was gone. No footsteps, no engine, nothing. Pump number 3 beeped, activated, by itself. Rule 6, do not look outside. My body wanted to turn. Every instinct screamed to check. Instead, I stared at the security monitor, camera 4, the pump area. The man was standing beside pump number 3, perfectly still, looking directly at the camera, as if he knew I was watching. Then the screen glitched, and he was closer, now standing directly in front of the glass window. But when I looked up, the parking lot was empty. At exactly 2:13 a.m., knocking, 3 slow taps, from the bathroom, inside the store. I froze. Rule 4. If you hear knocking from inside the bathroom after 2 a.m., ignore it. I hadn't let anyone inside. I checked the cameras. Front door locked, aisles empty, bathroom hallway dark. Another knock, louder, then a voice.
"Hey, you forgot about me."
My stomach dropped. I checked the timestamp on the cameras. They were 5 minutes behind, meaning if someone had walked in, I wouldn't see it yet. The voice came again.
"You let me use it earlier."
I hadn't. I was alone all night. The bathroom handle began to shake violently. Then, silence. The canopy lights outside flickered. I glanced at camera 2. Near the highway sign, a figure stood beneath it, not moving, just a black outline against the dark road. Rule 7. Turn off the canopy lights immediately. My hands shook as I hit the switch. The entire forecourt went dark. When the lights cut out, the bathroom door exploded inward. Wood splintered across the hallway. I grabbed the panic button. Nothing happened. The cameras all switched to the same feed. Bathroom interior. But the angle was wrong, too high, like it was mounted on the ceiling. Inside the bathroom, I saw myself standing there, knocking on the door from the inside. The version of me in the monitor looked exhausted, pale, terrified. He pounded on the door. "Don't let him lock it!" My real body stood frozen behind the counter, confused. The screen flickered again, and now I was inside the bathroom, hands bleeding from banging on the door. The store beyond the small gap under the door looked empty, abandoned. Dust on the shelves, lights off, no products, no register, just darkness. The manager's voice suddenly echoed through the speakers. "Every night shift needs a replacement." The cameras shut off. The store lights died. Total darkness. When I woke up, it was daytime. Sunlight through the glass, cars at the pumps, customers walking inside. But the layout felt wrong, older, faded. A new employee stood behind the counter. Young kid, nervous. The manager handed him a folded paper. "Read this after midnight," he said. I tried to speak, tried to warn him, but I couldn't move, because I wasn't standing in the store. I was standing near the highway sign, under the dead canopy lights, watching, waiting, for 2:13 a.m. My manager told me one thing before my first night shift. If a car pulls in and you can't see the driver, lock yourself in the freezer. I thought he was joking. Until 3:07 a.m., when a car with no one inside parked at pump number 2, and the driver's door slowly opened by itself. The gas station sat off a dead stretch of highway. No town for 20 miles, just forest and roadkill. I only took the job because they were desperate. The previous night clerk had quit without notice. The one before that? Transferred. That's all the manager would say. Before leaving me alone, he slid a laminated card across the counter. Nobody reads it. You should. At the top it said, "Graveyard shift protocol. Keep the front doors locked between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. If a customer knocks politely, ignore them. Real customers honk once. If a car pulls in and you cannot clearly see a driver, do not go outside. If pump number 2 starts without payment, cut the main breaker immediately. If someone enters the store and doesn't trigger the door chime, do not acknowledge them. The walk-in freezer is the only safe place. If instructed, stay inside for exactly 10 minutes. If you hear your own voice calling from outside, do not respond." The last rule made me uneasy, but the shift was quiet at first. Too quiet. At 2:41 a.m., a pickup truck pulled in. It honked once. Good sign. A man stepped out. Normal. Paid in cash. Left. At 3:07 a.m., headlights appeared at the far end of the lot. Slow. Crawling. The car rolled up to pump number 2. Engine shut off. But I couldn't see anyone in the driver's seat. I leaned sideways, trying to get a better angle. Empty. Backseat too. No movement. Sharp internal command. Rule 3, do not go outside. The driver's door creaked open. No one stepped out. Pump number 2 beeped. Activated. Without payment. Rule 4. I ran to the breaker panel, flipped the main switch. The lights outside cut instantly. When emergency lighting flickered on, the car was closer. Not at the pump anymore. Now parked directly in front of the store window. Still empty. The door chime rang. I jumped. but the front doors were locked. No one was there. Camera 1 showed the entrance clearly. Empty. Camera 3, aisle near the drinks. A figure stood there, tall, facing the fridge section, back toward the camera. Realization. The door chime hadn't sounded on the footage. Rule 5. My throat went dry. The figure slowly tilted its head, not turning around, just bending sideways. Too far, further than a neck should allow. "Say, can you help me back here?" Rule 7. But this wasn't outside. This was inside. The store phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. It rang again and again. Then voicemail activated automatically. Through the speaker, I heard my own breathing. Panicked. "Get in the freezer. Now." The figure in camera 3 was gone. Camera 2, outside view, showed the empty car. But now someone was sitting in the driver's seat. A silhouette, watching the store. The store lights flickered violently. The aisles darkened. And from the back of the store, footsteps. Slow, dragging. I didn't think. I ran to the walk-in freezer, slipped inside, shut the heavy metal door. Complete darkness. My breath fogged in front of me. Silence. Then, knocking on the freezer door. 3 slow taps. "You locked it too early." I checked my phone timer. Only 2 minutes had passed. Rule 6. Stay inside for exactly 10 minutes. The knocking grew louder, angrier, metal bending slightly with each hit. Then suddenly, silence. At exactly 10 minutes, I opened the door. The store was spotless, bright, morning sun outside. No broken lights, no empty car. Customers walking in. Normal. I stepped outside. An officer approached me slowly. "You're lucky," he said. "Previous clerk didn't make it." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" He frowned. "You're the replacement, right? They said you start tonight." Tonight? I looked back at the store window. Behind the counter, I saw myself, standing there, working the register, calm, smiling at customers. The officer followed my gaze. "There's no one there," he said. Fellicked again. The counter was empty. When I turned back, the store lights shut off. The cruiser was gone. The lot was empty. Dark again. 3:06 a.m. blinking on the digital clock. Headlights appeared at the far end of the lot. Slow, crawling. And this time, I was already sitting in the driver's seat. The previous night clerk left me a note taped under the counter. It said, "If the radio starts talking to you, don't answer it. It's not the station, and it's not for you." At 2:32 a.m., the radio said my name. The gas station sat between 2 empty towns. No streetlights, no houses. Just one flickering sign and a 24-hour promise nobody should have believed. I worked alone. That was policy after midnight. The manager avoided eye contact when I asked about the last employee. "He stopped showing up," he said. That was it. But on my first shift, while cleaning beneath the register, I found the note. Handwritten, shaky, folded twice. It wasn't company policy. It was personal. The rules on the note. Lock the doors at 1:55 a.m., not 2 o'clock. Do not trust the clocks. Check your phone for the real time. If a customer comes in soaking wet and it isn't raining, do not speak to them first. If the radio begins to play static followed by whispering, turn the volume to 0. Do not turn it off. If the radio says your name, do not respond. If you respond, apologize immediately. If you apologize twice, hide. I almost threw it away. Almost. At 1:54 a.m., the digital clock above the soda machine flickered. 2:03. Then 1:48. Then 2:00 again. I checked my phone. 1:55 a.m. exactly. Rule 1. I locked the doors early. At 2:12 a.m., a man walked up to the entrance, soaking wet, dripping onto the concrete. But the sky outside was clear. No clouds, no rain. Rule 3. Do not speak to them first. He just stood there, water pooling at his feet, staring at me through the glass, waiting. After a full minute, he raised his hand, knocked once, slow, then turned and walked into the darkness. No car, no footsteps, nothing. At 2:31 a.m., the radio behind the counter crackled. Static, loud. I reached to turn it off, then remembered Rule 4. Turn the volume to 0. Do not turn it off. The static faded. Then whispering began. Low, layered. Multiple voices speaking at once. I couldn't understand the words. Then the whispering stopped, and one clear voice came through. Mine, saying, "Hey." My blood went cold. Then it said my name, perfectly, like someone standing behind me. The store felt smaller, the aisles darker. Every screen on the monitor showed the same angle, the front door. The soaked man was standing there again, but now he was inside, standing just past the entrance, dripping water onto the floor. The door chime had never rung. "Answer me!" The soaked man's head tilted slightly toward the counter, waiting. The radio repeated my name, louder, closer. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought I'd pass out. Without thinking, I whispered, "What?" The radio went silent. The soaked man smiled. Too wide, too slow. Rule 6. If you respond, apologize immediately. "I'm sorry," I said. Nothing happened. The soaked man took one step forward, water spreading across the tile unnaturally fast. "I'm sorry," I repeated. The lights went out. Complete darkness. Rule 7. If you apologize twice, hide. I ran to the storage room in the back, locked the door, held my breath. The radio's voice echoed through the entire store now. Calm, satisfied. "Thank you for answering." Footsteps moved through the aisles, slow, dragging. Stopping just outside the storage room door, a hand pressed against the other side. I could see the shadow under the gap. Then silence. I must have blacked out, because when I opened my eyes, it was morning. The store was bright, customers browsing snacks, everything normal. The manager stood beside the counter. "You made it through," he said. Through what? I looked at the floor. No water. No footprints. No broken lights. Just a folded note on the counter. Different handwriting. Neater. New rules for tonight. The radio will test the new employee at 2:32 a.m. If they answer, They replace you. You may leave when the sun rises. Finality. Dark realization. My stomach dropped. I looked up at the security monitor. The soaked man stood near the highway, still dripping, still waiting. The manager handed a set of keys to a nervous teenager walking through the door. "Night shift starts at 8, he told him. I tried to speak, to warn him, but the words wouldn't come out. Because the moment the clock hit 2:32 a.m., the radio said his name, and I felt the door behind me unlock for the first time, letting me step outside into the darkness, where the soaked man finally stopped smiling and started walking toward the store.